Discussion keeps the world turning.
This is Roundtable.
You're listening to Roundtable. I'm Niu Honglin, joined by Steve and Yushun. Coming up soon, a new hotline, 12356, targeting at tackling the society's growing mental health crisis. But is this just another number, or could it be a real game changer? Let's dig into the reality, explore what this new effort could achieve, and discuss the broader steps needed to create a healthier society. And after that, we'll invite you to Roundtable's happy place. But now, China's rapid urbanization and economic growth have brought countless opportunities and success, but also unprecedented mental health challenges. Imagine a family dealing with the silent struggles of a teenager overwhelmed by academic pressure, or an elderly neighbor battling loneliness in a bustling city. These stories are everywhere, yet not often noticed. As China prepares to launch a national mental health hotline, it's time to reflect what has worked in the past, what hasn't, and how can 12356 truly make a difference. In order to answer all these questions, let's first take a look at the to be launched new hotline.
Yeah, this kind of hotline requires each city-level region should set up at least one hotline, and each hotline should be equipped with at least 2 operators at the same time for at least 18 hours each day. The hotline number is, as you said, 12356. And it is expected to be put into use around New Year's Eve or Spring Festival season and be accessible nationwide starting on May the 1st. Through the hotline, receptionists will provide mental health education, psychological counseling and support, as well as cope with emergency mental health needs. And efforts will also be made to link the mental health hotline to the nation's hotline for police, fire, and first aid.
I want to ask you, Yushun, do you know why it's 12356?
I have no idea. It's because it's easy to be remembered?
Is 4 considered a bad
luck
number?
No, because 4 in Chinese is 四, and affair or things is 事情. Something. So no 4 means there's nothing. Nothing is too important. It should be that. Yeah, 没事. Nothing should be that important that you want to, feel so depressed about. It will be fine. It basically says it will be fine. I think it's a good way for people to remember it.
Right.
So just 1, 2, 3, no 4, and 5, 6.
There's also going to be pediatric hospitals that set up outpatient clinics here in the country dedicated to psychological counseling, and they're going to be training general medical staff about mental health knowledge as well. And that's important because if the people that we're talking to, of course, don't have the necessary training, well, then that's not a good situation. So with that training, they'll be able to help detect and intervene in psychological issues while treating other illnesses as well. So it's not just the hotline itself, which is an amazing development, but there's things happening at the community level too.
Actually, here in China, we have many, not local one, but more like provincial ones or let's say regional ones.
Hotlines.
Yes. For example, here in Beijing, we have been, there is the suicidal related or psychological crisis intervention hotline for quite a long time. And overall, there are, I think, 24 sub posts in different places, and a lot of volunteers are answering the phones. And I think some regional ones have been quite successful as well. So do you think there is the need of having a national one?
Of course. When we're talking about this 12356 hotline, it is a nationwide hotline. And if you're asking me what is the number of Beijing's hotline, I cannot
you
really
would know.
remember.
You don't know.
Yeah. So when we have this kind of nationwide hotline number, all of the people in the country can call this hotline. It's more unified and convenient, and this hotline, as a nationwide unified mental health assistance service, it is allowing the public to access help through a very simple and also memorable number when they need psychological support, also improving convenience and accessibility of this service. Also, I think, the 12356 hotline provides a public welfare service, meaning the service is free of charge for the public. And this may differ from some what we known the paid psychological therapy clinics, also the counseling services. Another point I would like to mention is that the service offered by this hotline include mental health education, psychological counseling, psychological guidance, and crisis intervention. And it is aiming to provide comprehensive psychological health support to the public.
By the way, just add a little note here. That is, the original ones are still in use. So no matter if you can remember the national one, which is easy to remember, or the original ones that have been there for quite a long time, both would be still in place for, I think, at least the overlap period of time.
Having resources like this is necessary for the public, in my opinion. And having regional numbers is great, but now that we have a national hotline that will be put into effect very soon, it's just another way for people to reach out. I think the more important thing, if I can say this, and this is just my opinion, it's wonderful that we have or will have 12356, but the more important thing is getting people to use it. And making sure that people know that it's available, and getting rid of the stigma that if you feel like you need to call a number like this, that there's something wrong with you, because that is entirely false. And that is a stigma that exists, I think, around the world. It exists in Canada, it exists in the United States, it exists in many countries. We need more education. This is just my opinion again, starting from elementary schools, from that young of an age, knowing that asking for help when you need it is okay. And also the fact that, your mental health is just as important as your health for your kidneys or your heart or your liver or other organs in your body. Your brain needs a break sometimes. And you need to talk about your feelings sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's completely and totally normal. So taking advantage of these resources when they do exist is equally, if not more important.
Yeah, and it feels like it is kind of a signal to everyone that this is something anyone could encounter, and we're making it a national hotline, which means that you don't really need to worry about it, which in turn helps to reduce the shame or anxiety people might feel when facing such kind of issues.
Yes, it's definitely easier to pick up the line, talk to someone who is a professional and also backed up by the authorities of the country, which is definitely trustworthy. It's easier to do that than go to a clinic, get a registration number, and go see a doctor, and maybe even have to stand in the line among other people. That makes you uncomfortable if you're already in a mentally stressed state. Yet I was wondering, because for me personally, I don't know if I can trust this stranger at the other side of the line. I don't think they're not professional or anything. It's just harder for me to open up to someone who I cannot even see a face.
I would argue that it might make it easier somehow, because
I was thinking the same.
Talking with your friends and your family members, even though, of course, they'll be willing to help and listen as best they can, but sometimes it's difficult for people to really, truly, honestly open up. And when you call a number like this, and there is a stranger, of course they are a stranger on the other end of the line, but they're a professional. They know what they're doing, and they're there to listen to you. That's why they are there. And because you don't know them, and because they don't know you, I would hope that it would make it easier for people to really be honest. And I mean honest, because that's one of the hardest things about therapy and making yourself feel better, is really getting to the root of why you don't feel good.
Yes, and this is definitely not the only measure we're taking here in the society. Actually, we have been, by saying we, I mean the Chinese government, as well as all different organizations, including different schools, companies, and different places, have been working on finding a way to improve the maybe not improve the entire mental state of their employees and of their people, but more like ensuring that they have a healthier state.
Yeah, we're developing a lot of the mental health workforce. China has taken steps to increase the number of mental health professionals, including establishing 72 national level first class undergraduate psychology programs and supporting 31 universities offering undergraduate degrees in psychiatry. The country also established a system for residency training in psychiatry with 202 accredited training bases and over 11,000 psychiatrists trained. And also, I think it's kind of a policy or action that has been implemented for so long, because I remember in my primary school, there is a room, or we would say a corner, that you can go to. It is actually a room. You can talk to a teacher, and we call her 知心姐姐, which means she knows everything and she can talk to you, and you don't have to have any anxiety when you're talking with her, because even for primary school students, right? They may have different kind of psychological issues but they are maybe kind of afraid to say.
Yeah, and I think, again, going back to that point I was making, where I think, starting at an elementary school level is a really wonderful thing, because not just because kids, of course, need that too, which they do, but also you're teaching children that it's not weird.
It's okay
to express your feelings if you're not feeling good. It's okay. It's completely normal, and it's safe to do it. So then that child grows up with that attitude. And if you have a country filled with people who grow up with that attitude, then you're talking about a lot of benefits. And business is one of the benefits. We don't want to think about business when we talk about this type of topic, but it's true. I went to the World Health Organization website to see if they had information on this. And back in 2020, they did a study on the world's 36 largest countries. And they estimated that 12 billion productive days are lost each year due to depression and anxiety at a cost of $925 billion. So mental health, it's not just the right thing to do from a company perspective. Experts have proven time and again that it's also good for business. So having, your corner, you called it, or your classroom where you had the teacher there, businesses, if they have this service available for their employees, it's just a smart thing to do, I think.
Yes, actually, in some business and some companies that I know about, they have their in-house shrinks, and they also have a meditation area, a space full of plants, and they would have this very soothing, different color of lights, so you can sit in the couch, relax for a little bit, do a little bit meditation, and feel better. And if you need to talk to someone, there would be someone professional for you to talk to. And at the same time, actually, here in China, in some provinces, they have already covered the cost of seeing a psychologist within the health insurance, which is also going to make the situation a bit better.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge step, isn't it? In Canada, too. I have a lot of criticism about Canada. Canadians do that a lot, by the way. We love our country, but we're not afraid to talk about our shortcomings, that's for sure. And one of the things is the percentage of the budget, the health budget that goes towards mental health. In our provinces, it's roughly 6%. Canada has provinces, not states. About 6% of the budget, health budget, goes to mental health. That being said, there are provinces where Nova Scotia, for example, where I'm from, as far as I know, therapy is covered by your health insurance. So there are things that are positive, things that are negative, but to the point where your health insurance covers, therapy and things related. That's just another thing that would encourage people to make use of the resources.
Yes.
Also, of course, budget and also professionals. All of these resources are quite important when we're trying to establish a national hotline. But another point, or we've been mentioning, is that the public awareness. I think this is kind of the most crucial issue that might still be the level of public awareness and understanding. Although we're discussing this here right now, that it is so easy to remember, but there are probably still many people across the country who aren't aware of this number or just cannot just remember it. So I think more promotion is definitely necessary, and it could even be, included in elementary school textbooks, just like we learn to remember the fire emergency number and medical emergency number, which is, by the way, 119120 here in
Yes.
China. So, include it in textbooks and make everybody remember it.
Yes. One last question. In this day and age, we talk about AI all the time. Do you think artificial intelligence can play a part in helping people getting better mental state? The reason I'm asking this is not only because AI is a hot topic, it's a keyword all the time. It's actually because for example, ChatGPT was first launched. After a while, the server, or let's say the manager of this AI tool, realized that half of the consumers have already asked these artificial intelligence about consult them about their health mental issue already. So I think it's definitely a need, and yes, it's easier for us to open up to real human being for them to talk to us. But when it comes to whether or not this person is clinically depressed, whether or not there are some diagnoses, certain data, certain exercise to do, maybe artificial intelligence can help with the situation.
Well, I think yes, but I think we have to tread carefully on that topic because, again, things like ChatGPT, AI, chatbot feedback, we have to remember, I think we sometimes forget that we're dealing with a computer here. We're dealing with a computer that's taking data from documents from, decades and decades and decades of human input, and some of that can be positive and some of that can be negative. So if the AI isn't trained properly, this is not, asking the population of Florence, Italy. This is asking for serious help when you're, in an emotional state that is sensitive. So to completely rely on AI for that at this stage, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that we need to take that very seriously.
I am quite positive on this one, but not in a way that AI can replace human, but in the way that can provide some response suggestions for the staff members. We've discussed before how many people ask psychological help from AI, right? And now with these kind of national hotlines with human review and supervision, maybe the results from AI may become more targeted and focused when these staff members are using AI to talk with.
That's a good point.
Yes, having AI helping us screening emotional issues, helping the experts do a better job, being more efficient, not just working alone as a AI listener or AI shrink. Maybe that is at least what currently we should be doing. You're listening to Roundtable. Don't go away. We'll be back with Roundtable's Happy Place.
Delivery.
What is it?
Happiness from Round Table.
Hello, it's Roundtable with Niu Honglin, Steve Hatherly, and Yushun, and it's Roundtable's Happy Place. Who wants to start with his Happy Place?
I'll start first. So this week, my happy place is a secondhand store called Roundabout Charity Store. So it's an organization run by volunteers who manage and operate this store.
Oh.
And it is kind of a charity organization. It is established in 2008. They collect donated items and pass them on to people or institutions in need. And items sold in the store help generate profits, right? Which are also used to assist those in need.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, here you can buy secondhand goods at a very low prices, I would say. And you can also donate items or clothes, which allows you to receive discounts when you're shopping here.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about this kind of idea. The concept of secondhand stores has existed for a long time. But in recent years here in China, there has been a growing trend of these stores popping up, right? For those, passionate about vintage clothing and unique items.
Yep.
this kind of stores provide a treasure trove of opportunities to explore, right? But, not only does this contribute to environmental sustainability by promoting recycling and reducing waste, but these stores also operate as charitable enterprises. That's the point. The profits from these shops can be donated to various causes, and it is creating, I think, a cycle of goodwill and positive impact. And
Yeah.
I think it is quite heartwarming to see.
How did you know the place?
They do have like WeChat accounts.
Advertisement.
And they do advertisements on lifestyle sharing platforms or social media.
Yeah, that's awesome because you can feel good about your purchase,
Yeah.
right? Knowing that your money is going to a good place. What types of stuff can you buy there?
Basically, all of the things. It is one of the biggest secondhand shop here in Beijing. So, from clothes to home appliances, vacuum machine, everything. But mostly they are usable, but they are the things that people donate, which means they're like not the latest ones, but they're usable.
Very inspiring. I think for those of you who are like what I'm feeling right now, I would go online, look for some of the charity secondhand store and go have a visit for the weekend and feel good about myself as well.
Oh my gosh.
That's exactly what I did.
My mom would love a store like this if she ever visits. It's her thing, secondhand shopping. Me too. I love it. Buying secondhand clothes for me, I'm a huge fan. No need to spend a lot of money on new clothing, and if like I said, if you can know that your money's going to a good place, well, then all the better.
Thank
Especially when
you.
you can get some of these hidden gems. In this kind of
Well, that's the
stores,
fun.
right?
That's the
Right.
entertainment side of visiting these types of stores. There's some great stuff in there.
Yeah,
sometimes.
great idea, Yushun. Thank you for sharing that. What about you, Steve?
My happy place
Yes.
this week, it's shopping related as
Ooh.
well. It's the holiday season, right? Christmas is behind us now. Not everyone celebrates Christmas, of course, but my wife and I do. We exchange Christmas gifts. And I was excited to receive an ice making machine this year. It's a little tiny thing that sits in your kitchen, and you pour water in there, and then it makes some ice.
Ice water all the time. Ice everything all the time.
Ice Americano in the morning.
Oh.
Even in the dead of winter, I still drink iced coffee. So to have that as a gift was a really wonderful thing. And then I got her some yoga related things. But I'm not talking just about the gifts itself. I'm talking about rewarding yourself every once in a while. We're not big fashion shoppers. We don't go out and spend a lot of money on new clothes each week. And we don't often reward ourselves. So the message that I want to share is that for doing something for yourself or for somebody else, get yourself a little treat every once in a while. And that might be at a secondhand store. It might be a new ice machine if you're an ice Americano lover like I am. But take care. It's all about self-care, I think, a little bit. So don't be afraid to reward yourself for your hard work or for your hard study every once in a while. Give yourself a little treat.
I think for this happy place, we've got a little theme here. That is the little things that make you want to thank life and feel better about yourself. Because mine is also related to that.
What is
Actually,
it?
my happy place was found in something also very simple. A dinner with my two longtime friends. And we've been friends for over 6-7 years. And while we still keep in touch quite so much online and talk to each other all the time, but we didn't have time to meet in person that often, like when we first met and first become friends. Life has gotten busier for all of us, and between work, raising kids, and other responsibilities, it feels like there's never enough time to prioritize our friendship. But something changed because one of my friends is about to leave for Italy for 2 or 3 years, and it's for a new job assignment, and that makes us feel like she is leaving, and that leaving push us to feel like we need to make some time for her and for our relationship. In fact, it was our second meetup already this couple of weeks, and that made me think we often say, it's really actually easy to say, we'll meet soon, or let's catch up when things slow down. But you have to realize life won't slow down and time won't stop for us. Never. You have to make time. You have to always make time. So the dinner wasn't just a gathering. It was a reminder to prioritize, to make time, to cherish those connections while we can.
Yeah, no matter it's meeting up with your friends or presents exchanging, we need these kind of ceremonial or ritual moments to remind us that our lives can be so colorful.
Yes.
We don't need, sorry to interrupt, we don't need a grand event like leaving the country for 3 years as an excuse to get together. But that's what we do, isn't it? It's what we do. We just put things on the back burner. Oh yeah, I'll see you, next month or in a couple of months, and then it doesn't happen, right?
It doesn't happen.
So we don't need that big, I'm going to leave the country for us to get together. Just try to make a point of seeing the people that are important to you.
Yes.
It's a good reminder.
It is. It reminds us that time is a choice. It's not often something that happened to us. It doesn't have to be. You can make the choice. And also, the encounter makes me realize relationships need action. We love our partners, we love our friends, and you have to let them know you love them by taking action.
Yeah.
And the last takeaway from our little dinner was that actually presence is more important than perfection. It's not often about elaborate plans or something perfect or a great gift. It's about being there, fully present, even if it's just for an hour over dinner, you talk to each other genuinely, and you are there for each other. That is even more important.
Just showing up.
Just showing up.
Yeah, sometimes just showing up, just showing your face there is enough. You don't need to prepare anything more than that, because we need to remember that just by doing that, that means a lot to the other people who are waiting for you to be there.
And it turns out it means a lot to us as well. That brings us to the end of today's roundtable. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topics. Leave us a comment wherever you listen to your podcasts, or send us an email to roundtablepodcast@qq.com. Until next time, keep the conversations going and the ideas flowing. I'm Niu Honglin with Steve and Yushun. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.